Hi Scorpio, this is Psychic Tracey Brown coming to you today. Oh dear, I'm missing something. Coming to you today. Oh, here it is. To do your February 2019 horoscope. How is everyone? Okay, so let's get this party started. We're going to have a February event, and it's a February love event. So you have a choice of colors. You have red, pink, and white. This one happens to be a double color, but get a candle that's red, pink, or white. Size does not matter. All right. Feel free to order the love kit. Let's see. This is a pink love kit. And it will come with an oil, love herbs, at least 3. Sometimes there's more than 3. Sparkly stuff, and then a holy herb. And there are different types of holy herbs. All right, it will come with a dropper so that you could take your oil and keep your hands nice and clean and put it on the candle. And it will come with parchment paper, so you could write your letter to your highest authority. Mine happened to be God and Jesus, and you get to write your letter and your intentions. So with that being said, email me for your own personal reading. Thank you. Thank you for choosing me. What is around Scorpio for the month of February? Scorpios, what are around you for the month of February? Please, God, please reveal to me what is around Scorpios for the month of February. I love you, God. I love you, Jesus. In your name I pray. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. What is around Scorpio for the month of February. Enough in November. You guys are born in November, for the most part. Some are born in October. Let me make sure my phone is out. What is around Scorpio for the month of February? For Scorpios, please make sure that you... Scorpios. Why do I feel like this is Scorpio energy? Not... You know, this, it's called the 5 of Swords. And 5 of Swords usually means sabotage, but 5 of Swords usually means self-sabotage. So I want to see if you were sabotaging yourself or somebody was sabotaging you, right? I believe, Scorpio, you could be sabotaging yourself for the month of February, okay? So, buyer beware in the month of February. Remember, February is the love month, all right? And so, it might be one of those situations, Scorpio, where you don't want to prove to someone how much you love them, all right? You don't want a day to make you act in a certain kind of way. This is what I'm believing, right? But it also could be self-sabotaging. You know what, Scorpio? It is a day. And it's a very important day. And it's a day that runs across the gamut of the world, all right? It's not an American event. It's a day that people get to recognize, I like you, right? But I also feel like you might change your mind. That's the card that I'm talking about, which is the 5 of Swords. I believe you graduate into wanting to prove something to somebody, right? But then I think after you prove something to somebody, then I think you regret it. And you're like, why did I do that? Why did I do that? Don't beat yourself up. It's an important day. Doesn't mean marriage, all right? Although a lot of people get engaged during Valentine's Day. So if that's one of your questions, maybe that might be one of the problems, actually. One of the problems could be, should I or should I not get engaged? Should I go through with this? But if you don't go through with this, you're going to have a problem. If you do go through with this, you're going to have a problem. You know? So, Scorpio, what are you going to do? All right, let's see. Oh, man, Scorpio. God damn it. I think it comes down to love, Scorpio. And it's going to be love on both ends, right? So, Scorpio women, what if somebody proposes to you and you're not ready? And you might say yes so as to not make too much dramatic emphasis on that particular day. You might say yes only to say no later. Only to change your mind later. And for the men, I feel like you're really in contemplation as to whether this is something you really want to do, or you really should do, or are you being pressured to do it? And then you do it because it just might be the right thing to do. But I feel like everything falls apart and it doesn't stick. The engagement does not stick. Okay? And this is how I know it doesn't stick. Maybe because if it's men, maybe because the woman becomes a bridezilla. Maybe she starts making demands. Maybe you're engaging, but you don't really want to set a date. And she's like, let's set a date. I already brought all these magazines. Let's set a date. And you're like, no, I actually just gave you the ring so you could shut up. If that's the case, men, Scorpios, don't do it. Do not even bother, because there's a regret, and I'm telling you, you're going to get to the point where you are just going to take back the engagement. For the women, I would say if somebody engages with you, the biggest conflict I see here is drinking. All right? If someone engages with you and they have a drinking problem, a drinking issue, any DUIs, if they control their drinking, which means they don't drink during the week, but they get belligerent drunk on the weekends, you have to say, let me think about it. I don't want you to say no, because I'm concerned that the offer of engagement becomes much more important than the character of the person that you're marrying. You want to marry the character. You don't want to be in love with getting to tell all your friends, I'm engaged, look at me, I'm engaged. And he did it on Valentine's Day, and we were out to dinner. I got engaged on the day before Valentine's Day. He was trying to wait to Valentine's Day, but I had an argument with him, and I was like, you don't really love me. And he was like, no, I really do. And I was like, no, you really don't. And so he panicked and proposed on February 13th, you know, maybe it's actually February 14th. Now I'm thinking about it. It might have been February 14th, like 2 o'clock in the morning. And it didn't last. I knew better. I might have been in love with someone wanting me and not in love with the person and the character of a man. Now I look for the character of a man. All right? For the women, I want you to be really mindful. What are you in love with? Because this is my love card. Are you more in love with yourself than looking at the man that might have a lot of problems? All right? And for the men, what are you in love with? It seems to me like you really, really care for this woman, but do you really? You know? Or do you really, really care for this woman and then the woman becomes a bridezilla? I don't know. You have to tell me. You got to let me know what all this is about in the long haul, right? Because I get a card of waiting on both sides, men and women. Wait. You don't know what you're getting into. Please wait. This is a card of waiting and taking your time and waiting another 18 months. Don't get upset with me. I know what I'm talking about. Slow it down. All right? Because there's a lot of regret here. A lot. All right? And I feel like drugs, alcohol, prescription drug, maybe a little sex issues, it's all going to come, you know, like bubbling up. Like you can't hide this anymore. Work, there's some work issues here, or money issues, and there is some mother-in-law issues or female family members, or another person. It could be a third-party issue too. Could be a third-party issue. Could turn out that there's somebody else. Could turn out that you might be settling, Scorpio. You could be settling. Don't settle. Don't. The worst thing in the world is to settle. Especially if you have something in the back of your head that keeps you like thinking like, no, I do. I like him. Or do you need to be loved? But are you loving? Like, these are all components that does not make for a wonderful extension of your life and complements your life. So, awkward reading. Very, very awkward. Let me know who this applies to. I'd love to know what all of this is about, really. And money's a big factor. So if somebody is not working, right? Or if somebody lost their job, or I'm telling you, shut it down. If somebody's not working, somebody does not have a good job, somebody is not bringing in the right type of income that matches yours, unless you want it that way, shut it down. Okay? Because the money's a big factor here. Also, the other thing that I'm getting is if one partner has the presumption of making money, but you can't really tell me what that person really does, what their check really looks like. Remember, this is engagement, all right? This is marriage. The intimate details should just be there. Like, you're a couple. If you can't really tell me enough, not me, I'm not talking about in a reading, but if you can't say enough, if you think you have to embellish what your partner does for a living, be careful, because there could be a partner that is latching themselves onto you for security. And this goes for women who are with men who are not bringing home the bacon, but might look like he's bringing home the bacon. But for all intents and purposes, it looks like he's bringing home the bacon. Or somebody could lose their job before the marriage occurs. And there's something about losing the job that he just doesn't pull his weight and makes the wedding finances, you know, disappear as a couple. Also, Scorpio, I really feel like if something goes down and someone loses their job, I think in a weird kind of way, it's them saying, we can't afford to get married, let's stop this. You may not want to hear it, but if you look at the circumstances and the actions of the person, all of this is going to be critical to understand that whoever this person is, maybe he or she does not want to get married. And it's not their fault that they lost their job. Like, there were massive layoffs. It's not my fault. All right? Okay. If anyone is in a relationship with the air sign, Scorpio, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, and you're questioning, look at whether or not he is just a qualified worker, goes to work every day, goes to work on time, work at the same job 10 plus years. This is a good person for you to be with. If you find yourself defensive and arguing a lot, walk away. Not with the air sign. I'm talking about in any relationship, Scorpio. If you find yourself defensive, arguing way too much, and you're stressed, the biggest unstress is to walk away from this relationship. For some Scorpios, watch your children. Somebody is not keeping their eye on a child. Could be a teenager, but it has something to do with either partying too much, going out too much, not coming straight home from school, and possibly drinking. Watch your children. It's time to spot check them. Okay? Spot check your children, Scorpio. Drinking is an issue here. So I'm going to say something else, Scorpio. If you have children and you have liquor in the house, check your bottles. Check your bottles. All right? Because some child in your house within a year's time will begin to drink. Have these conversations with your children about what drinking can do. Hopefully you can have these conversations. Hopefully. It's almost like be so kind to your children that you're kind enough to sit them down and have a conversation about drugs and alcohol and weed. Like, start having these conversations. Like, give of yourself. It's kindness to tell your children what some of these ramifications are. Because within a year's time, everything's going to turn around. Not for the better, especially if one of your children winds up investing in some sneaky behavior that involves drugs, alcohol, and, and prescription drugs. So if there are certain type of drugs in your house, like oxycodone or whatever types of deliberate addictive kind of meds in your house, lock your bedrooms. Put the meds in your bedroom and put a lock on your bedroom. Because there's just something inherited here where it's like, well, it was just there. And then, I took them. Save yourself and have a conversation with your kids and be responsible. There's something about maybe if you autocorrect yourself, then the children won't wind up in a mess. Or don't blame yourself. Maybe this particular child could just wind up in this mess anyway. All right? But if you know you have a character, okay. I'm going off now. Do you know, when I was raising my son, I would leave my purse out all day, every day. I would leave my purse out. It would have money in it. Never once did I have a fear that that kid was going to take money out of my purse. Never once. But I had conversations with him as he was growing up. So when I say to my son, baby,